Let me give you a strange account. A nice, interesting, different day I had yesterday. I was to go to Auckland to a meeting. It's a bit costly from my point of view on a state pension. I didn't want to make the journey, really. I didn't want to hear the speaker. I've heard him before, and well, from my narrow point of view, you understand, he's not good company. I don't feel uplifted, but more sort of aggravated by listening to him. That's not his fault, it's where he is. But anyway, I'm down to go to do it, and I've got to give two people a lift who, and I do. And they are both nicer to me than usual, which was rather a blessing, really was. Great relief. We don't like to be at odds with people, do we? And we find, from our point of view, inexplicably, that we seem to not be in harmony with some people. We'd love to be, but So that was good, and I realised it was good, and I thought, well, this is what God's doing. How lovely. I didn't set this up. It seems to have come upon me. I could have avoided it, but it would have been not harmonious too. And when I'm there, well, the talk was much as I thought, as it was previously, and some aggravation to me, quite honestly. And it was going to go on too long, and after about an hour and 20 minutes, I thought, I'm going to take a break. I can't stick this for 2 hours. And I slipped out and got the evening air, 1 or 2 exercises, and felt happier again, and went back in, sat down with my flask, and carried on listening. I was a good boy. And then came the relief at the end. We finished. I mean, there were 1 or 2 interesting things in what he was saying, don't get me wrong. It's just that it's not my view of the world. In particular, it's not the company of someone who knows God. It's the company of someone who's teaching a philosophy that he values. Well, fair enough, it's interesting. But it's not uplifting, it's not, and etc. So it's not blessing me, obviously, if you like. But his audience are appreciating him, and that's interesting, that's good, and that's who they are too. And in fact, in the social time afterwards, where we have sort of tea and cake sort of thing, so to speak, he comes up and says, I saw you at my meeting a year or so ago. Oh, yes, And he's very nice. Look past the teaching that you find aggravating to the person who's talking to you. And he's a rather nice chap. I mean, how kind. He's come up and he's talked to me. Bless him. And then I find, earlier, before the meeting, I chose a seat somewhere near the front because I like to have a commanding position of the speaker, whoever he is. I like to get eye contact. I never got eye contact with this chap, and I know why. I'm not in harmony with him, that's why. I wasn't, I'm more in harmony now. I've talked to him personally. But, I find I'm sitting next to, and I may have chosen it was a spare seat, and a nice lady, just a nice, ordinary person, and she's there for the first time, and in a sense, my usual way of dealing with people, I'm making a fuss of her, talking to her, and how, oh really, where do you come from, Oh, yes, and what do you... yeah. Oh, you're new to it. Oh, she'd done everything a bit like my past. She's looked at every religious type philosophical thing. And I know it's a blessing to her. For about a quarter of an hour before the beginning of the talk, she's met someone. She's feeling at home in a sense now, comfortable. The person next to her is very receiving. He's been here a while, sort of thing, me. And I've been a blessing to her. That's lovely. We go out to a meal that I don't wish to buy and I don't wish to eat. And graciously, the Thai lady who's, the host there at the desk, taking the order, she allows me to change the meal, even though I started it. I said, it's too hot, I can't eat it. And she brings in something that I can, and that was very good. And the two ladies three ladies I'm with are chatting on, two of which I've given a lift to, and the other one's Carol, who lives downstairs where I live. And they're chatting on, and it's the evening passes at the thing this is before the talk. We're having this restaurant meal nearby. And the lady only charges me for the one meal, not two. So I give her extra $10, which was sort of half the cost of the meal that I wasted, in effect. And we leave on very good terms. I've blessed even her, you see. She's been gracious, and I've responded as I should. Took half the burden of the mistake, the error. She's happy about that. It's as if I've shown my appreciation of her kindness. So again, a blessing. I feel I've left a blessing, you see. Leave on very good terms instead of strained terms. And at the end of the meeting, I find, there's a lady who was sitting on her own in the meeting, an older lady, much, older than me even. And I talk to her, and I find she's Dutch. She speaks with a very Dutch accent. And we're chatting away, and we have a good talk. The Dutch and the English can get on very well. They've got a ghastly history together. They're two nations, I think we were always fighting the Dutch. Not quite. We sort of empathised with them. And of course they were Protestant, and when England was Protestant too, whatever. And that was a lovely talk, and good for her. I know it was, and good for me, of course. And then suddenly, while I'm talking to her, up comes this very strange chap I know. I talked to him in the past, quite a few times now. And he loves talking to me, and I love being a blessing to him. I just do, And he's way out in what he says, all these miraculous spiritual approaches and understandings he has of what happens to him and the spiritual world, and from a theosophical perspective. He's what the world would see as a weirdo, a stranger. And he so likes my company, and I appreciate that too. Him, I mean. And so these are the relationships that are such a blessing. And we go home afterwards, and it's late. We didn't leave till 9:30, and we thought we'd get home by 11. But really, I didn't get to bed until 12. We got sort of lost on the way. There was diversion, and a diversion in the New Zealand countryside is to get lost, I can tell you. You never quite know where you are or where the diversion's taking you, or if you're even still on it, and you're just lost. You're completely disorientated. And suddenly you find, recognise where we are, thank goodness for that. We could have been out in the sticks miles away. And we got home, and they picked up their cars, the two ladies I was giving a lift to. But a lovely day. Not formally for the content of the talk, not formally for the meal out, you know, a restaurant meal, which is just a costly misfit in large measure to me, as was the talk. But the personal contacts, none of which were foreseen, including talking to one or two people in the street, walking to the restaurant, you know, at the crossing and so on. I just had a few words with her. Turned out to be a Filipino lady who was telling us we could go diagonally across when the lights change as we were walking, you see, at the junction. And you know, you've been a blessing just in a few moments. She's relating to a group of people that she doesn't know, us, and we're very accepting of her. And you know, people around us were lovely to relate to. You see, your life can become a blessing, a joy. And the blessings and the joy are not the things actually that really take resources and finance and that at all. They may be in the context of it, but you can get the same joy and experiences just staying at home, taking a walk around the lake, going shopping in your usual routine, giving someone a lift because they want it, talking to someone who comes to the house because they want to, making them feel welcome. You can be such a blessing, such a joy. And that's the reality. You've moved into a relational living, not a spending, doing, hard experience religion of the world, but a being and relating and caring for living. The loveliness of God with you as you see him creating your day and putting in all the bits that make it lovely, as opposed to some bare worldly experience. Love your dad. Just love your company, your blessing.